Okay, Matthew's just cutting out this back box here. You can see we've marked them up. They're set to just under 1.2 metres. I'll show you inside the room. So we've got the laser level set up, dinger line around. And as you can see, we're just kissing the top of all of these. So we've got our sockets, telephone points, and whatnot marked up. Just show you what else we're up to over here while I remember. So we've got a couple of bays up, kind of. Run out of OSB for the minute. But this one's about done. Ready to kit out. That one, I don't know, I might leave it with the top off. We'll see. Maybe put some basket up or something so we could mess about with some of that, I don't know. And you see we've got this set up here, so we've got a little room just in the side. And we've just put one skin on all the way around for now so we can get all our wires dropped in. You see we've just got these marked out. We have to drill the noggins, make sure we've got those. Matthew can get on with that now actually. Open up holes above everything. So yeah, that's kind of the structure. Got a little bit of tray loosely fitted. We ran out of standoff brackets. So you can see we've just gone around this awkward little bit here. Need to clean that up a bit, get some more standoffs on. We're a bit shy of them in our stock, but that's where we are now. We're going to start wiring this. We've got some LSF cable. Obviously it's going to come across the top there. Wire it all out from above, drop down into the sockets. We're going to put a ring final circuit in all the way around just to cover off where stuff is around this space. Now we're going to have a little heater that plugs in. It's 1 kilowatt one, nothing too massive. It's only a small room. A couple of emergency lights in, just the spots, and a couple of central batten lights, so it's really nice and bright in here. We've got a socket there, another socket with a telephone point just behind Matty's head, and then sockets there, test point for an emergency light, rig up that I'm going to talk about in a sec, and then a double light switch. And we'll switch the lights in this room independently of each other, just in case we're wanting a bit lower light level. It'll come to be apparent later on why that is. So we've got our insulation laid out there, door casings. So the next stage, once we've got the wiring in, is to get the insulation on as well. We're going to keep our cabling across the back and then across the top of the timbers, so they're not going to be covered in any insulation, ideally, so we can not have to worry about derating them due to that. Essentially just be clipped direct as best as we can across the top, and then when we're dropping down in the spacings between the timbers, obviously they're going to be in insulation then, so we need to factor that in with what we're doing. Although we're wiring it as a ring, it's going to be on a 20 amp breaker. We're fine there, and our lighting cable's 1.5mm LSF, and that's where we are for the minute. So this little storage area / podcasting booth is going to have a couple of sockets just in here, on the other side of that socket from the other room, and a central light. Obviously switches out here. We've got another emergency light emergency light fitting to go in the toilet, and we've given this a quick whitewash. It's still drying. Put it on yesterday. It's really cold and damp, so excuse the noise. It's not quite gone off, so that's going to need a good second coat, and then we can start kitting that out. And then we've got a kitchen unit set up that we're going to put this side, under sink water heater and all of that jazz. Matty's a right pig, look, 2 portions of Subway all to himself, he didn't even share. Got our fireboard, and the fireboard in and out, I don't think that's especially necessary, but you know, belt and braces approach, that's what we're doing. Yeah, it's been pretty decent so far. We're going to crack on now with the wiring, and I'll show you it when we've got it all pulled in. So you need to keep to your zones, so we're going to have to come straight down here, straight down there, straight down, and then the same on this wall inside the cupboard, straight down into these. So the ring circuit, you just follow the room around essentially. It's not rocket science, that's why I can do it. But it's going to come off the board into that one, zoom along there, pick up the other ones along here, pick these ones up, that one, and then all the way back, and that's your ring. And then the radial outs the lights. We're going to drop down into the switches, off and over to the lights and emergency lights, and then take a feed across into this cupboard area. We're not going to put an emergency light in there, it's not really needed, I don't think. It's just literally going to be to put crap in. And then that is going to get its own emergency light. It's already wired, we're just going to repurpose what's over there. And this now might make sense about the cable I was on about taking down to that area, to where these booths are going. We've still got to make that a little bit bigger, but again, across the top, all the way around, follow these steels, and then down to a DB that we're going to put inside there. 3-phase one, single phase, But yeah, we need to get rid of all this lot first and get this building finished, so I'm going to crack on. So it's been a hard couple of days, but we've made a lot of progress. I'm going to run you around and show you what we've done in quite a short period, I think. Me, Matthew and Nathan yesterday, and just me and Matthew today. So first up, we've got these two booths done. Well, nearly done. So we've got one at the end, and these are just OSB board. I spoke to Craig and Jamie in our little group chat about apprentice one-to-one matters, and I asked if OSB would be alright as a framing material. They said yes, so I've gone with that. Can put a panel inside for people to screw into and whatnot, so we're not going to ruin the framing, carcassing, whatever you want to call it. But it was a little bit cheaper than ply. It may end up need replacing with ply, but it is what it is. We'll see how it goes, see how it wears. And then this one just the same. I wasn't sure if we're going to fit this out with timbers and then put plasterboard on, so we can maybe put some downlights in or something. I don't know if that's really something that's a thing, but we didn't put another sheet of OSB on for the time being, just to see about that. This is the main build, and I was very pleased we've got the majority of this done. Like I say, this was just a timber frame this morning, so we've got this insulated, boarded and wired. There's not been a lot of time to record much of the footage of us doing it. We're just missing a little bit of insulation on top. As you can see, we're just maybe another roll short, but soon get that sorted. So from this end, you can see we've got boarding all done, obviously all insulated again inside the walls. Got a row of walls along. This is all going to be clad across the top with a nice bit of timber, as I said, so you won't see any of that. Similar to what's on the toilet block there, a little bit deeper, just to try and hide everything away. And then inside here, it's going to be a little space we can heat, little meeting room slash classroom slash office for the time being. So you've got a little window in there that we just need to cut out the bottom of from the plasterboard. But that's all ready for the window to drop in, nice double glazed one. We've got our sockets, as I said, these drop down, so the ring comes off the DB, drops into here, up there, across here, drops down and picks up these two sockets, back up, across, and down to pick these up, back up, down again into here, down again into there, and then the last little leg across the top, back to the board. So that's about as even a ring as you can get. There's always going to be one leg slightly longer than the other, but this is going to be really lightly loaded. As I said, although we've wired it as a ring, we're going to limit its capacity to 20 amps. In terms of the cabling, that's been put on the inner face of the plasterboard with the insulation over the top of it, so it's not ran right through the middle of the insulation, but it is in a plasterboard wall with 100mm of insulation. So just for any derating factors anyone wants to apply, you've got your LSF in there. We've got internet point wired in over there. I've just gone for one light in the middle. I was going to put two up, but I think one's fine. We're just going to run it lengthways across the room instead. They are the very bright Collingwood battens, so they're super duper bright. So we've got that to pop up, and a couple of emergency spots. There's going to be an emergency timer switch here. So this is one of those, for those who are familiar with testing emergency lights, it's not a little key switch, it's an actual timer where you can set the duration. Double light switch, which is now only going to need to be a single, so I can amend that. This is from the outside. Obviously we're going to tape and plaster all of this lot, so it's all going to get finished nicely in the end. And then around here we've got our little store slash soundproof area when we've finished. And again, we've got plasterboarded in, insulated, central light point. Just remembered there's a socket supposed to be in there that we've boarded over, but it is there. We can cut that out, wires in the wall ready. And then this is an example of the cabling. So when this gets insulated, that gets pushed against the board, insulation over the top, and then plasterboard on the inside. Just need to stick a couple of sheets in here, and then that's that done. And then the same on here, we're going to fit the door casings, which are over there. So they're going to go in these holes, frame out with a bit of 3x2, which is also over there, and then just put the last little bit of plasterboard, which is over there, onto the fronts of it, and then it's ready for taping and plastering before we do the decoration. So we're getting there. For 2 days, I don't think that's bad. Like I said, me and Matthew this morning, that was just all timber, all laid out from yesterday, and we've put all the boarding on, all the insulation in, first fixed the wiring, built this area up. I think we've had a pretty productive day. We're back on the day job now. Next week is a busy schedule for us. We've got a property we're going to be putting solar panels and battery storage on soon, but we're going to do some work in the garden. So there's some outdoor sockets across the garden. The ducting's already in the ground. New consumer unit in the garage. Then we're going off to do another garden project. It's typical, isn't it, in winter? We get all the outdoor work. But we've got 2 outdoor infrared heaters, an outdoor socket and some LED tape light, fancy decorative lighting around a new pergola, alongside the usual EV charge points and EICRs. And yeah, looking forward to showing you a few of those maybe as well, but for the time being, we'll cut off of this video here. I'm not going to end it, we'll come back to it because it's only been a bit of a short record. We've got the doors going in, the window going in, I've got that on order, that should be here imminently, and then we can get these last bits of wiring, finish off that containment up there, and see if we can get it turned on with the lights on, because you don't want to be plastering in the dark. At least have a light in there, because I don't want the plasterer getting my Milwaukee light trashed with muck, because we all know what the plasterers are like. Catch up with you soon. So we're just starting second fix in here now. You can see we've gone for the M2 range. For those of you who aren't familiar with M2, they do a range of circuit accessories. Got a couple of USB ones here with the USB-C and A's on there, so that's useful. Reasonable price point, couple of quid each or so on the sockets, and I think they're about £12 on the USB, so very competitive. We've got an ESP timer, emergency light test kit, and Matthew's just wiring up the emergency light little spotlight we've got in here as well. Nathan's on with the sockets over there, so you can see we've got our sockets all wired. Little low level one there for a heater to plug into, little socket there, and on the outside we've got our paint on. It's just drying for a first coat for the minute, but it's come out pretty reasonable. In the cupboard over here, so you've got our little security lock on. It's gone out nice, got a little socket in there just waiting to go, light fitting up there waiting to go, and obviously the light switch out there. We have got some of these accessories that we're using on this one. So we've got the Bell lighting, twin floods, and these are LifePro batteries as well, so they're IP65. You've got long life, 550 lumen, 12 watts, 5-year guarantee, it's always nice. So we've got two of those, and Matthew's going to pop those up in a minute on these corners, so I'll show you that in a minute when they're all sorted and finished. I've also got a little emergency light there from Net, which is going to go in the toilet over there as well, so we've got an emergency light in there. This is the under-sink water heater. Once we've got our sink unit constructed over there, that's going to go in at that side. What else have we got? So these are the M2 circuit accessories. We've nearly used them all now. Yeah, good quality gear for the price point. You can't go wrong, I don't think. And they're coming together nicely. Got a little CCTV system down there. So we've got our an Anchor DVR, that's what you call it. It's 2 terabyte, and the Hikvision cameras. So we're going to pop some of those up as well, just to give us a bit of extra security. And having heard about the Ring cameras that are easily disabled by people trying to break in, we've gone for a wired system on this one, just so we know that it's going to keep recording even if they have one of these transmit blocker thingy-mabobbies. That really leaves us just trimming up once we've got this done. So we're going to get the second fix, try and get the power on today, so I'll jump back on the video and show you that in a second. Once Nathan's worked his magic over there. See, we've got a JCC skylight in here as well, which should be nice and bright. Matthew's just popped us the emergency light fitting up there. Got our tray across here, that still needs tidying up. We've not got around to that yet, but we will do. These are the Bell lights that Matthew's just dug out of the box. So pretty small actually, compared to some of the old floods for emergency lights used to have. These to be twice the size of that. So get them a lot small form factor these days, which is great. It saves space and weight when you're up your steps. Got a window ready to go there. I've just left the glass out for the minute to help air the paint while it's drying. And yeah, that's kind of where we're up to. I'll jump back on in the video in a sec and we'll show you this all finished up and turned on and what we've come up with, so you can see the finished article. Catch you in a sec. Hello, so a little progress update from the unit conversion. You'll see behind me we've added a few bits of racking on. I'll take you around, show what we've got up to for phase 1 now. You see we've got the unit the little office, meeting room, all sorted for the minute. I've just banged that table in that was left in this unit, just so we can make a temporary little coffee rig. Got CCTV in that corner. Obviously we need the Patras outlet. I think I'm going to end up siting that in the little stores cupboard to the side, but we've just been setting it up with the monitor in here. For the minute, we've got our heater on, which is doing a cracking job. Got it set to max at the minute, nice toasty 35 degrees, just to try and get some of this filler to go off. This unit, as I said before, is pretty damp because it's not been occupied for a couple of years. So it's taking a while for all of the last little bits of filler and stuff to dry out. So you see we've got our emergency twin spots up there with the Hikvision camera, same at that end as well. And this has now moved on a little stage further, so we've got the little storage area here. At the minute I've just put some of the bits and pieces we've been using while we've been building this up, but we're going to put another couple of booths just after here. That's the next stage, and then over at this side we're going to have like a stores area as well, just for the short term. In the middle, some sort of workbench, so we can do some practical demonstration on a workbench. And then obviously these booths need kitting out, and I have got a load of gear been sent in from varying people across social media, and some brands that are going to help me kit these out. There's bits of stuff we've got as well. You'll have all seen my test board that I've shown before at the other unit. This is the other end, obviously. You can see we've got a little storage area in there. Plenty of insulation on top. We still need to put the top cover on all that. We are going to tidy it up. We're not just going to leave it like that, but for the minute it's serving its purpose, keeping it insulated. Windows all sealed in with the glazing in, so we're all good there. Got the nice, well I say nice, the floor tiles down, and again they just serve a purpose for the minute. Covers it up nicely. Did that myself, pretty pleased with my efforts on that one. And yeah, we've got our JCC batten light up here, that's all working nicely. We've got our emergency light, we've got the little ESP test feature here. So you can see I've popped it onto a 10-minute test now. The emergency lights come on, and if we come out here and have a look, you'll see these have gone into test mode as well. So it can all be tested, quite straightforward. If you want to increase the frequency, the time duration, you just switch it up. So now we've got a full 3-hour drop test. That'll just sit there and do its thing. As soon as the test's finished, power's restored. So you don't have to set a stopwatch. Just keep an eye on it, and it'll tell you if it's passed on at the end as well, which is pretty funky, pretty clever. You can see, pop down there. And this light up there will flash its green LED to let you know that it has been activated. And you can see these have gone back into charging state up there. So yeah, that is where we are now. We've got a few extra supports up on the steel wire armour up there on the tray up there that you'll notice. And our LSF's just dropped down into the top of the board. In the end, we're going to change that for trunking. We are going to swap it out. This is just what we had on the van to get this done for the minute, but we're going to put a trunking system up across the top of here. We've had a little rethink on what we're going to do for the long term, but for the minute that's totally fine. So we've got our LSF cable in, it's nicely secured. We've got our Proteus board there that you will have seen on a prior video. Still waiting on the DNO to come and finish off that. They've left it as is for the time being, but there is works getting done out on the front, so I'm sure it's going to be changed imminently. And yeah, that's kind of where we are. Coming together. I guess the next step now is getting these booths fitted out, getting the floor paint, which is under there, onto this warehouse. Spin you around, obviously this is, as I've shown you before, it's a bit filthy. We're just going to put some paint down. It's just a polyester paint, I think that's what it is anyway. Let's have a little look. I might be totally making that up because painting is not my area of expertise. It is a polyurethane, polyester, yeah. So it's polyurethane, and it's going to be a light grey. So I'm just going to clean this area up here, and I'm going to pop it down and see how it looks. I'm just going to take it to there because I expect it's going to take quite some time to dry, and I don't want to go doing the whole floor all at once. I may end up with some lines in the paintwork at the end of it, but you know, it's not the end of the world. It will look a lot tidier than it does now. I'm just going to do it a bit at a time, so if it doesn't dry very quickly, we're not left with the entire unit out of service waiting for some paint to dry. Waiting for our bin to be delivered, just to say we've got some commercial bins on the way. And yeah, otherwise I think that's us. I will keep sharing some progress and updates on this as time moves along. I'll show you some of the equipment we used in a bit more detail. Accessories I've gone for, I think I've said already, they're the M2 range. Nathan wired these on and he was pretty happy with them. He never complained at the time of doing them, which is always a good sign. But he has said these are really decent, and obviously they've got the USB-C and A outlets, and someone's got some paint on that. So fortunately we're better electricians than we are painters. And they say painting's not a trade. Clearly it is, because we're not very good at it. If you've got any comments, any questions, drop them in below. I will keep the content coming around all of this. Back to some of the day job for a little bit though. We're out doing a few exciting installs. I think I mentioned in one of the earlier videos as well. So we're going to go back to that, get a bit of normal content on the channel, and we'll jump back and carry on with this later on. Catch you later. Bye now. Okay, so we now have running hot water and a power point over here. You'll note we've got the socket a good distance from the sink, so we're not breaking any regulations there. But at least we can make a brew up, wash the cups out, which I am just about to do. See, I've got them in there. It's nothing too fancy, it's just a little setup we've got for the minute. So there is some hand washing facility and cup washing facility we're going to add to it over here in the future. And we've got other buildings coming up in this point as well. But for the time being, that serves its purpose. Got the base. For those of you who watched my short that I've popped out, you will have seen I shared a little video of popping that onto the wall. I'm going to pop some trunking up onto that. I'm probably going to bush and couple into it rather than use Paxolin, and then we're going to set some final circuits in this booth up off that. There's some other DBs going up in there as well. It's going to be quite nice. Get some lighting up, bits of different containment as well. This one is just storing all of my other bits and pieces for the minute, so that all needs to come out and we can start work on putting the top on that, getting that kitted out. We've then got a couple of rows of shelves, which for the minute I've just got a lot of the bits and pieces we've been using through construction, just to keep them out of the way, but they're going to be cleared and obviously have materials for people who are going to be working in the bays and on the workbenches out here. This is then going to go into our stores cupboard that will be over there, and then we're going to have another, I think we can squeeze two more in, another two more booths just there, but we'll see on space. And then obviously we've got the building to erect over there, similar to this one that is now here. I put a bigger, wider angled lens on that camera there, really, so if anyone was to open these doors, it might see out into the car park to get a registration number or something like that. That was the thinking of that one. We've got one of the little ones up there just pointing back towards me to see this side. I've got another 3 cameras to go up. One's going to go external on the back. I'm going to pop one on that side of this building just looking at that door, and I think I'll pop one just out the front somewhere over there looking out into the car park as well. But we'll see. They're all just the BNC ones. Again, I popped a short out on those. So these are Hikvisions, but they are just BNC with 12 volt supplies to them. They're not power over Ethernet. Old school technology, but they do work in HD. They are really good for night vision. In fact, I can show you in the little office, which is now carpeted and heated. It's lovely and toasty and warm in here. That's the box with the extra cameras in. That's one of the little ones down there. Pop this display on. Got the power point there to split out the DC supplies to the cameras, obviously with them being BNCs. That's how they run out across. So we're going to have to bring some more cabling into this point, and then off from the power supplies and the BNCs out to the cameras. But you can see that one there looking out at the doors. If I open that up into a bigger screen, you see it's pretty good quality. This is an Anki, or Anker, however you say it, DVR, an Amazon special, 2 terabytes, so lots of storage on there. And yeah, we can see both the doors, and as I say, if that opens, there's really good footage out through that door, both in the daylight and at night, so that's why we've gone for that. We'll add the more cameras onto the as time moves along. Yeah, I think we're kind of at the point now where we need to get on with some of the more regular content, so we're going to jump back out on site and get some footage of that. I appreciate this isn't the normal stuff, building this building behind me and popping the bays up and things. On my channel, exactly what we're up to. You can see in here, for those of you who remember, there was a hot water tap heater thing there. We've got to strip all this out and tidy it up, obviously, but for the minute it's functional to a point. And likewise here, now an under sink heater, which is tucked away in this cupboard. I'm not sure if I can open it because we haven't put the handles on yet. You can see that down there from Artisan. No, sorry, Ariston. Teach me for watching Jordan's YouTube channel before I come on to record on my own. We are where we are now. Got some bins coming, obviously, so we've got loads of stuff to put into the bins. These bays, I'm not sure what we're going to do here. There is going to be a building over this side, but I don't know if we're going to incorporate a bay onto the end of it and try and make a bit of a bigger setup. Maybe for a kind of domestic dwelling, we could almost try and recreate a room, a kitchen, for example, if we had a bit more space. But we do need that extra space here before we start looking at going upwards. Show you a step back view of that. So I'm pretty pleased with how it's come up. The floor's gone down nice. There's holes all over it that people have obviously had fixings in the past. So these all need filling and sorting out, but at least for the minute, there's a good covering of paint on the floor. It is seeming to hold up as decent and tough. I was worried about it scuffing and just peeling up off the concrete, because those of you who saw at the start, this wasn't in the best condition, but it was worthwhile giving it the good coating of the J's that I did, a right good sand back and brush off and clean up, because the paint's gone on an absolute treat. I now just need to go in, can see all these holes everywhere, and get those tidied up, looking a bit nicer. So I reckon given us another, we've probably spent a week on this, all been said, I would say, with faffing around, maybe even less than that to be honest, because we've been doing this in and around the day job. I think another couple of weeks work and we'll be ready and finished. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled, there'll be more on this across social media, I'm sure. Otherwise we're going to get back on with some more electrical stuff, because I'm sure that's why most of you are here watching this channel, and we'll pick up with that in a very near future. Thank you to everyone for the kind comments and messages coming in and the questions around all of this. I do reply to you all. It just takes me a bit of time because I do get hit up loads in DMs through the daily activities of Apprentice 1-to-1, so do bear with me, but I will get back to you all, and it does mean a lot that you've reached out in the way you have. Oh, the giveaway running. For those of you who haven't seen her on Instagram, we had these kindly sent in by PE Electrical, I think that's right. I'll tag it in the description of this video so you can go off and enter that should you wish. But you've got an opportunity to win these 2 bags that have been sent in totally free of charge, just by another electrician, to help out learners of the future with a nice bag to keep the gear in. That's one of the things I really love about Apprentice 1-to-1, is the kindness shown towards other people I get to see closer and in the flesh. That's always nice. And yeah, until the next time, I'll see you soon.